Hi everybody, my name is George Casares and I'm a junior in the Step 1 UTeach program. Today, since right now currently I'm in Asia, I have to make this video to present my board on how my lesson plan went in teaching. So anyways, let's get started. So I'm pretty sure that we're supposed to dress up for this occasion, so just give me a minute. Sorry about that, guys. It took a bit longer than I expected. But anyways, so like I was talking about, let's get started. So first off, I wanted to introduce you to my topic. What we decided to do was teach about magnets. And this was a three-part lesson. I decided to present my second lesson for you guys today. So anyways, let's dive right in. The second lesson was lesson number 2, attraction and repulsion. And what the concepts was that all magnets have two poles. Similar poles repel each other while opposite poles attract. The Earth itself has two poles and also attract and repel magnets. My objectives, or my SWABA students will be able to, included number 1, recognizing that magnets have two poles, explain why compasses always point north, demonstrate which poles will attract and which ones will repel, and number 4, define attract and repel. So after I got to the class, I wrote all of these on the board, and then from there, I went along with my lesson plan, which was based on the 5 E's. So first off, a summary of what my lesson was my engage. So after I pointed to what the lesson objectives would be and what was expected of the class and what they should be able to do by the end of the class, I went to the front of the class and I introduced some pictures to them. Some of these pictures included presents, broccoli, a picture of a tiger, and homework, and there was 2 or 3 others. But the gist of this was the students would stand up, and when they saw a picture that they would like, they would either come closer to me, they'd be attracted to the picture, or if they saw a picture that they didn't like, they would be pushed away. They'd head to the back of the class, away. Would also be repelled. Afterwards, I had the kids sit down, and I related what they just did to attraction and repulsion. And then I asked the kids to define those words in their own terms. And so the class was able to do that, and it was pretty successful. So for the explore, students received 2 magnets. One like this, and the other like this. See, blue and red, red and blue. What I wanted the students to do was play around with the magnets and figure out how the magnets interacted with each other. Like, could they make it go like this, or did they have to go like that? Could these sides touch, or could these sides touch, or did it have to be like that? Anyways, I gave them plenty amount of time to work with it, and then they ended up drawing their observations on a worksheet. And then when the students finished working with that, I gave them a compass to use. Unfortunately, I don't have a compass to show you what they were doing with it, but pretty much they just put the compass up to the magnet, and then they just moved it around and saw how the compass interacted with the magnet. And from that, they could draw conclusions as to what the compass could possibly be, or why the compass works. I moved on to my explanation from there, and I explained to the students how the magnet has magnetic forces within it, and because opposites attract and the same repel, they were able to understand those terms even better. Moving on to elaborate, I had to try and relate how magnets work and how compasses work with the Earth. Why does a compass always point to the North Pole, or why does it always point north? So in order to do this, I went to the board and I ended up drawing a picture of the world. It was really just a big circle, and on the top I drew the North Pole, and on the bottom I drew the South Pole. And then I asked the children, so why do you think that a compass always points to this one? And then one of the students, they raised their hand and they said, because there's a giant magnet under the Earth. I thought this was pretty humorous, but if you think about it, it is pretty true. So then, to help him visualize it, I drew a magnet like this inside that circle. And then I asked him, so what poles would go where? And then he told me that the south would go to the top and that north would go to the bottom. And then I was surprised by this answer, that he was able to elaborate on what we just did to come to this answer, to draw this conclusion. He realized that since a compass is when it points north, it's attracted to the southern pole. Alright, so when a compass points north, it's being attracted to an opposite magnetic pole. So if this is north and this is south, then the compass is being attracted to it like that. It's being pulled to it. So the student realized that if a compass is pointing to the North Pole, then at the North Pole it must be the south pole of the magnet. Thus, that's why the compass would point to it. I thought this was pretty cool that just from this little exercise the student was able to think that far into it and come up with that answer. So then lastly, we have the evaluation, and as you can see in the students' work, I just asked them assessment questions, like what poles attract, what poles repel, why does this happen, and how does it interact with a compass. There was one group who was able to get every single thing right, and that made me pretty happy because it shows that I was able to successfully do my lesson and convey this knowledge to these children, and that they were able to understand it and then reiterate it back to me through these papers. So that's what happened with my lesson plan and everything. That's how my lesson went. If we look here, this is just pictures of teaching. In this picture we have students reacting towards the engage. Again, this is a picture of the broccoli. Everyone ran to the back of the classroom. Over here we have pictures a picture of the exploration, as we see this student working with the magnets, much like how I showed you earlier in this video. Down here again is the student work, and then down at this bottom, you probably can't see it on the camera, but you will in person, is my reflection and improvement. It's just things that I felt that I learned from the lesson, and the improvement is obvious about what I felt went wrong. Not wrong, but not as well as it could have, and how I need to work on that in the future. Over here, lastly, we have a lesson that we learned in the UTeach classroom. I thought the most valuable one was designing and learning about a 5E lesson plan. Anyways, here's some do's and don'ts for when you are doing a 5E lesson plan. When you do the engage, you want to pique the student's curiosity. You don't want to introduce vocab or give them definite answers. During the explore, you want to encourage student-to-student interaction and observe and listen to students as they interact. What you don't want to do during an explore is give them the answers or rush the students, kind of like pressure them so that they feel like they're rushed and don't have much time. Alright, anyways, so as I was explaining, during the explanation, the students are encouraged to use their past experience to help explain the topic. And they're also supposed to request evidence for why a student gave a particular explanation. But what you're not supposed to do during an explanation is to neglect to solicit student explanations or dismiss any student ideas. Almost done in the elaboration, we're supposed to focus on students' attention on conceptual connections between new and past experience, and things that you're not supposed to do is to neglect to help students create those connections and then tell students that they're wrong. So during the evaluation, you observe and record as students demonstrate their understanding of the concept, as well as encourage self-assessment. What you're not supposed to do during the evaluation is test their vocab words or terms in isolated facts and promote open-ended discussion. So that wraps it up for my presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned a little bit about what my second lesson on magnets was. Thank you.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Oppan Gangnam Style.